Welcome to the Mosaic podcast. We're so happy to have you here. The Mosaic Society is all about celebrating the intersections of our identity, whether it's through culture, spirituality, or civics. We're three friends exploring these paths together. I'm T. Marie, your cultural mosaic.
I'm Roseberry, the voice of the spiritual mosaic.
And I'm Shreya, bringing in the civic mosaic. Our mission is to strengthen friendships through exploring each other's passions and to inspire confidence for you to show up as your true self in your communities.
We'll be sharing new insights, ideas, and conversations each week with fresh posts every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, this podcast on Sundays. So let's dive in and explore the many intersections of identity together. All right, so today, ladies, we are talking about food and health, our relationship with it, our goals with it, our definition, etc. So to start off, let's start talking about our relationship with food, how it's changed. Where did you start? Where are you now? And then do you guys have any pivotal moments or experiences that has influenced how you view food and health? So don't all speak at once. Anyone feel free to go first.
It's unlikely to happen, but okay.
Well, I will go. So honestly, when I was thinking about this, I don't have much of a relationship with food and health. Not that obviously I do, like I'm alive. I have to take care of myself and nourish my body. I think I'm just more mindful of how I eat, but I've never really had a positive or negative relationship with food. It was kind of just there. Now I love eating. My sister says she always kind of find it kind of disgusting how much I love food and how excited I get to eat. So that hasn't really changed. I think the biggest thing is like in Senegalese culture, which we'll talk about, or I'll talk about a little later, big portions are a part of the culture because everyone eats together. And so I think the biggest change in my relationship with food is learning portion control. But yeah, I honestly like, not that I don't have much to say on this topic. I think my lifestyle has just, for the most part, always been healthy eating. And so when I was thinking about this, I just realized a lot of my decisions when it comes to food isn't really like conscious decisions. Like it's so integrated into my life where I'm just like, I'm going to usually pick the healthier option. Or if I pick the less healthier option, it's because my body needs it or wants it in that moment, if that makes sense. So that's my relationship with food. It's not anything drastic, really.
Yeah, mine a little different. I've also always loved food since childhood. My mom always tells this story of like when I was a baby and she'd feed me, like my toes and fingers would start like dancing because I was so excited. But even in like elementary school, I was always like the model example of like a good eater. You know how like some parents like have trouble getting their young kids to like eat certain things and they're like picky eaters. I would always just like eat all my food. And I remember my aunt one time I was with her and my cousin, and she was like, "You see how T eats her food? She eats her vegetables." So I was always like a good eater, and like I was praised for it. So I feel like early on I had a very positive relationship with food because it was like always seen as a positive how much I could clear the plate. And it was always seen as very positive. I don't There was a shift that happened. I don't know if there's like a specific moment where it was like, T, you're a great eater, to T, you're eating too much. You have to watch what you eat and your weight and everything. I don't think there's a particular like moment. I just know it happened over time. I think it started sometime during like elementary school, and I think I started changing into a more negative relationship with food. I just developed a few bad habits like snacking and lack of portion control. But I also, this is kind of embarrassing, but I also developed this like habit of hiding food. Like a squirrel, I would literally like hide food. Not like food, but like snacks. Because I have two older brothers and boys eat a lot. So say like we had a box of Rice Krispie treats or like fruit snacks or something. I would like, take two, hide it away, and then my brothers could do whatever else they wanted to do with the rest of the fruit snacks or Rice Krispie treats. And I think that was kind of reinforced just because the way food was encouraged, like eating in my household was different between my brothers versus me. we would eat similarly or they would eat more than me, but they had higher metabolism, so they would burn it all off where I would like gain weight. So there would be times where if they ate something too quickly, I would complain to my mom and be like, they ate all such and such, I didn't get to have any. And my mom would say, oh, well, you don't like need it because it's like, I had to like, watch my weight. Cause sometimes I would overeat. I was a big snacker. So I think that's when I just started taking things into my own hands. I would just hide it. And I was like, I'm a guarantee that I have a Rice Krispie treat. But yeah, that led to some not so good habits. That continued for like most of like my childhood. And then I think around maybe high school, incrementally it started getting a little bit better. I'm much healthier with my relationship with food now, and I just do certain things to manage myself better. But I'll get more into the specifics of like some of the things I do later. But it did definitely change in different parts of my life.
I can relate to both of you. Yeah. Especially the hiding away the food part. I do that. I used to do that. So, my relationship with food. Yeah, it's evolved. I've always loved food. I've loved food, been fascinated by cooking, and food in general is something, it gives me happiness. If I
Mhm.
can think of something that makes me happy when I'm having a bad day, it's eating a really nice meal or cooking myself a really nice meal and enjoying it. So my that, while it's nice and pleasant, it's also led to this terrible crutch where I rely on food to make myself feel better.
Mm.
So if I'm emotionally stressed or if I'm upset, I eat and I eat a lot. So I that's something that I'm trying to control now. Trying to control my sweet tooth when I'm trying to control emotional eating. That's something that I'm trying to control. To go all the way back, I think my family's always loved food. I grew up with my mom, my dad, and my maternal grandparents and my aunt and uncle. So I loved food, and my grandfather was a he loved to eat. He used to love food. So we always had a lot of food at home, and it was large portions, and we expressed our affection. My grandparents would expect, my mother would express her affection through food. So they would make
Mm.
food that I like to eat. On my birthday, she'd make 10 different treats that I like to eat. Halwa and paisam. These are different sweets. So that's how they showed their affection. So that's how I grew up. But I also don't have a great metabolism. I've always been on the heavier side. I have seen my baby pictures. I was round.
You're cute
And
and chubby, cute.
yeah, cute, chubby, sure, sure, sure. No, nobody's denying that. But I did look like a 4-year-old when I was 2.
No, nah, T, I'm gonna have to stop you there. She was a big baby. Like, respectfully, that picture, you being what, like 1 years old, less than one, I
One and a half,
definitely
one
thought
and a
you
half,
were
one
two.
and a half for sure. Yeah, yeah.
1.5, I thought you were three. Like, you were just, and it wasn't even like big, like chubby. Like, you were just, like, you had muscle as a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Like,
big.
muscle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was always bigger. And early on, I used to eat a lot. I have a huge appetite. I still do. It's far lesser than what it used to be when I was a teenager or early in childhood. That large appetite would somehow get balanced off when I had physical activity. But because of all the moving, I lost a lot of activity. I wasn't enrolled in all those classes anymore. So I started gaining weight because my appetite remained the same. My exertion had come down drastically and I was gaining weight. And it would come up in small comments like, you need to lose a little bit of your belly. You're fine. You're perfectly fine. It's just your stomach. And that made me very conscious. But I lacked self-control, so I continued to eat. And the thing is that that loop that you have where a concerned adult would tell me, like in my family, that hey, you need to lose a little bit of weight, you need to watch what you're eating, you don't need to eat this bowl of ice cream right now. And I would take that as a personal offense. I don't know what, but I did. And then that would just make me have a negative relationship with food. And then they would never say no, they would say not now, maybe later, control your portion. But it didn't really register well. I went through this phase where I was compulsively eating, and then it's changed though. College changed a lot of things. My weight loss journey after, when I started working, changed a lot of things. But yeah.
When you talked about like your family, like showing love through food, can definitely relate. Food is a really big part of Senegalese culture, arguably too big a part of Senegalese culture. If you have like, whenever we have guests, it doesn't matter if they're there for 5 minutes or if they're there for 2 hours, you always offer food. Always. It's like the very first thing my parents do. And so, like the other day, for example, like this winter break when my sisters came, there was like 2 weeks where their friends were here like every day, every other day. And my parents asked me, they were like, when you go, out of curiosity, they were like, when you go to your like Americans' friend's house, do they not offer you food? Because every time my sister's friends came, they never really like ate. Like my sisters never offered food, nothing. And I was explaining to them, like in American culture, like unless it's a mealtime, like it's lunchtime or dinner time, that's just not part of the culture to just offer food just to offer food. Like us offering them food would be like, that's weird. That's nice. Thank you. And so I think my relationship with, or the way I view food is very communal. It's like a communal event. Everyone comes and eats at the same time. You share the same dish. Like it's just like a really
Mhm.
big plate. All the food's there. You sit on the floor, you eat together. And I grew up eating like that. So I never really ate alone. Eating alone was like a no no for me. Eating alone was, I physically couldn't do it. I would starve before I ate alone. In college, you never would catch me in the cafe by myself eating. If I had to eat and I had no one to eat with, I would just grab my food and eat in my room watching a TV show. Because eating is a communal thing. You should never eat by yourself. It's a time where you get together, you talk, you catch up, you make jokes, you get to know each other better. And so I think that's the only part of tradition within like my culture that stays with me. There's certain foods, of course, that I love. Like my favorite Senegalese dish is gurban. Gurban to the day I die. If that's my, that could be my last meal, honestly. I love gurban. But like outside of that, I don't really have traditional aspects of Senegalese culture that I stick with. Just because the food's a little unhealthy. It's very greasy and oily and dense and it makes my stomach hurt. But the communal aspect of it, I really love. And I will carry on with me and I will teach my kids that.
What's Gudabon?
Mm.
Gurban is like, I said this before, it's like grits when I gave y'all the arao. It's
Ah.
Mm.
similar. It's like a soupy grits, and that's all I can explain it as. I literally don't know most Senegalese dishes, like outside of the basic stereotypical ones, are hard to explain. Like yassa is just chicken, onions, and rice. Mafe is like a peanut butter stew. Supakanja is okra stew. But like when you start getting to things like gudban, I don't know what that is. But it's like grits. It's like grainy and soupy, and there's meat in it. I don't know what vegetables are in it, but I'm sure they're there. Not many though, but I love gudban. Anyway, I can't cook it. I don't really try to cook Senegalese food because I mean my mom's here and my sister's here and two of my sisters are better cooks than me. I'll put myself in the middle. I can cook, but I can cook healthy food. I can't cook Senegalese food. It's just too complicated and I know myself and I would change the recipe to make it a little bit healthier because it does hurt my stomach. But yeah, I definitely should learn how to make gudban before my mom goes. Hopefully, no time soon. But hopefully, no time soon. But until then, if I ever want gudban, I'll just call her. I'll just. But last thing, because we brought up my mom, she loves their food. Like
Mm.
most definitely, the first time I heard someone say love languages of food, I agreed because I thought of my mom. Like if something's wrong, if she's sad, she'll like make us something. Like my senior year, when I talked about last week, like me struggling, she made me pasta like every 2 to 3 weeks. Pasta was my favorite food at the time, and so she would make it every 2 to 3 weeks and just leave it in the fridge for me. And then if I'm like, oh, can I have some sombi? She would make me sombi. Oh, can you make me some mint tea? She'll make me the mint tea. So I would say food as a love language is in the tradition, especially through my mom.
That's sweet.
That
I
is.
miss my mom. Okay.
You should call her.
I speak to her twice a day.
Got it.
She's probably asleep.
What about you? What tradition or cultures do you think stay with you?
There aren't like too many. It's different. There's not like a lot of like cultures related to like food for us. Like there's a few like recipes that we will have like around the holidays that my mom will make. Like she's known for like her pound cake. Like she used to spend her summers in Virginia with her siblings and her aunts and cousins down there taught her how to make pound cake. So that has always felt like a staple in like our family, like a tradition. In terms of like family background and stuff and eating habits, the main thing that I can think about is like the way that we monitor and watch our food just because of like medical things that run in our family, and that's influenced how we eat. Like my dad eats very healthy, and sometimes even growing up he would make his food separate from ours, or like have a healthier version and then like put other things that like cheese or like a sauce or something on the rest of the family's food. So I think that's kind of informed the way we eat. And as years have gone on, my mom eats similar to my dad now. My brothers are both super health conscious, and I've increasingly become health conscious as well, just because you want to make sure to monitor things, just because we're more at risk for getting certain things, just because it's in our family. But yeah, that's kind of all I could think about. But yeah.
Other than the pound cake, are there any other like traditional food that you guys eat? Like every Christmas this is made, every Thanksgiving this is made. And do you, I know the kitchen is not your strong suit, but do you do you have any guys, oh, the first time I saw T cook, I was terrified. She left the spatula or the ladle in the like boiling sauce. Like I was
Look,
confused.
I can cook a little bit. It's just the methods, you would be scared watching me, but the end result is decent normally.
Mm,
I don't cook a lot around the holidays. I'll bake if anything. But my mom will also make like stewed tomatoes. I don't know if it's quite a southern dish, but she learned it in Virginia in her childhood. And then my dad every New Year's Day will make beans. So I don't know if there's like a meaning. Why you did that?
just beans?
It's like, yeah, it's like a bean soup type situation. Not like baked beans. It's like
Like
black-eyed
chili?
peas. No, not quite like chili. It's like in a soup. And he'll put like
Interesting.
vegetables, and like he'll normally put like smoked turkey legs in it to like flavor it a bit. It's really good, but I don't know, like I know some people have like traditions around like having beans the first day and having like similar foods. I don't know if there's like an actual sentimental reason. He just always makes beans for New Year's Day. And my brothers don't like it. So me, my mom, and my dad eat it. But yeah, that's something else that we do every year. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Something to look forward to.
That's
Beans.
really nice. Yeah. Also, I don't I think you can cook just fine. It's just that you do some things that really astound me, like how you try to cut a carrot or a
Oh
potato
my
with
god.
butter knife. I
Shreya was so nice to give me a real knife. After that, she was like, no, stop, put down the butter knife. Use this. I still have it
No.
and I use it very well. Thank you. Thank you for that.
He used a butter knife to chop up her vegetables, and I don't know what else for I don't know how long, a year?
Pretty much, yeah.
God.
No.
It worked. I was working off like my apartment set. I just had like a little basic set. I didn't have all the knives. Because I don't cook the way y'all
You
be
didn't
chefing
have
it up.
a knife,
True, I did not. I
There
made do with
was
what I had.
but
when
you did
I
well.
stayed
Sorry,
okay,
go.
when I stayed with T for like a month and a half,
Yeah.
I ate like mac and cheese, like Velveeta mac and cheese in a cup, like as a snack. It was always just my snack before dinner. And I would make it, eat it, and then when I left and I came home, I left some there. She calls me one day and she's like, "You eat this? This isn't good. Look at it. It's all watery." I don't know what she did. And she was like, "I followed the directions." And I was
I
like,
did.
you obviously didn't, because never in my life has it ever looked, it literally looked like mac and cheese soup. Like it looked so
It was
gross.
defective. It wasn't me. I followed the instructions. It was
Cheese makes soup.
defective.
Okay.
And
I
who eats
will,
Velveeta? I eat Kraft, by the way.
I
yeah,
think both
that
are.
Kraft, I literally can't eat Kraft because of the single, the plastic packages, the cheese.
Mhm.
Ugh, you can't get me to eat Kraft.
I
Like
like Anne.
honestly.
You like what?
Who?
Anne, is that one?
Oh, Auntie Anne.
Annie's?
Annie's, sorry.
Annie's.
Auntie Aunt the pretzel place?
Yeah. I like those. They're nice. They're really nice.
No,
You just
she's
need
laughing
water
at
with
me.
a little bit of cream and milk, and it tastes great.
No, no, no. She's laughing at me because I said Auntie Annie's, which is the pretzel place in the mall.
I've never
But
had Annie's mac and cheese though. I've
They're
never
really
it's
had
good.
that.
good. It's good. It's
I'll
just it
try
takes
it.
time. It takes a lot of effort to eat compared to Velveeta. Wow, we really just got off topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Shreya, you kind of talked on tradition, but like what other traditions do you have? Do you feel like, I'm very curious, moving to America for school, are there any traditions that you miss? Are there any traditions around food and health that you feel like America should adopt or some people should adopt that you utilized in India or Dubai?
Okay, I'll start with what it was like back at home, and then I can move into what it was like when I moved here. So, back at home, I've been through phases, I guess. Most of it was home cooked meals. We'd go out once in a while. So we used to have this set place, this set joint that we'd go to have dinner. And we'd only go out to have dinner. We'd never go out to have breakfast. We'd never go out to have lunch. We'd go out to have dinner at this one place called New Shanti Sagar in Bangalore. It was like a walk away from home. We'd go there, we'd have the same set menu every time we go out, and then we'd come back home, and then the rest of the week is just home food, which was very traditional South Indian food. And when I say South Indian, it's because I don't want to go into the layers of the kind of food that they make in different regions and different communities. But it was very typical of what you would find. That was what was made in my great grandmother's house 50 years ago. So it's the same kind of food that I still continue to eat. So it was that. We usually did not have any garlic. Actually, garlic was a big no no in my house because my grandmother hated the smell of garlic. She couldn't stand the smell of it. She banned it. So I didn't have garlic. Garlic is still not used at home as much. Like even now, if it's used, she gets really angry. So we don't use garlic at home. So if I ever ate garlic, it was when I went out to eat food with, in joints, or if I had street food there would be garlic. And the minute I enter the room and I'd go say hi to my grandma, she'd be like, "You ate garlic?" She knew. I don't know.
I can't live without garlic. Garlic is in everything I cook.
I still don't use a lot of garlic. Only when I'm making certain food I use garlic, and I get too much of it makes me sick. I feel very nauseous when I eat garlic, a lot of garlic. My stomach doesn't deal with it very well. And so that's one thing about traditional food that I still carry with me. Even if I make pasta or if I'm making aglio olio, I don't add garlic, which is weird, which is really weird. But I started to use it a little more. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I use it a little more than I used to when I was allowed to use when I was younger. So that is so, yeah. Then when I moved to college, things changed because I went from having South Indian food, mostly South Indian food throughout the week, to now eating North Indian food most of the week because I was studying up north in a university in Haryana, and there everything was super different. I couldn't survive a meal without a yogurt. And here I wasn't getting any yogurt, at least the first semester. They changed the menu to include raita, which is basically a yogurt dish every day. But in the first couple of months, I couldn't survive because I needed my yogurt. Everything had garlic in it. It was terrible. That adjustment was super hard for me because I was so used to eating my home cooked food. I thought that I would enjoy moving away because I loved eating pasta, I loved eating pizzas, I loved all that North Indian stuff that people made. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. I hate this traditional stuff that we're doing all the time, but I craved it. I missed it. Yeah. So that's how it started off. And then what am I supposed to be saying again?
I have a clarifying question. So when you moved for college in
Mhm.
India to northern India, there wasn't like a lot of yogurt. It was a difficult adjustment. And then when you moved here, you thought you would enjoy it more because you liked pasta, pizza, all that.
Oh no, I thought I would enjoy it when I moved away from home because thing is I enjoyed eating out when I was in school. But there were restrictions. I wasn't allowed to eat out as much. I thought that when I moved to college, I'd be able to enjoy the food that I wanted every day. So something that would be saved as a special treat back at home would now be my daily, would be my usual. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would because after eating all of that, I was like, okay, where's my curd rice? Where's my yogurt rice? I need that. My stomach's burning. So yeah, so that was then. It increased my appreciation for the food that I grew up eating. It increased my appreciation for traditional food, the simplicity of it, and how much variations are possible, even though it seems like you're only mixing the same ingredients. There's so many different things, so light, so flavorful. So I loved that. I gained an appreciation and a sort of admiration for people who are really good at cooking that kind of food after college. And when I moved here, I was shocked by how much processed food is available here. But everything is processed. Oh my god.
No
Cheese.
comment. No
You
comment.
get real
Yeah.
cheese? You get processed cheese, you get fake cheese. I'm like, okay, like is there anything that doesn't come out of a can? Everything is in a can. You need tomatoes, it's in a can. You need beans, cooked beans in a can. Everything's in a can. I was just so surprised by that. Uh because I'm much older than most students are when they move to study here. I think I was
Hmm.
able to find my way where I was able to understand that okay, I want this, I'll be buying this even if it's a dollar more, I'll be using this because it suits me better. If I had moved here for my undergrad, I would have probably lived on mac and cheese and reheatable or microwavable meals like every other student. Moving in your late 20s makes I made me more conscious of what I can eat and what I cannot eat. So I have been able to modify my kitchen and my pantry to be more to be less processed at least. So I don't use canned beans because I find it disgusting. It also makes me super gassy, which is why that's the only reason. And actually, that's what the disgusting bit is. Not the canned beans itself, but the gassy bit is disgusting. So I prefer to soak them. Prefer to soak my beans and cook them. Anyway,
Hmm.
I don't mean to
That's
sound culturally ignorant or superior in any way. I apologize if that's what it came off as.
It's a common, experience that a lot of people who come into America say about the food.
Yeah. But
a lot.
also, I also really appreciate how convenient it is. Like, I want to eat ravioli. I don't have to find some obscure place or some fancy place like how I'd have to do in India. Or I had to. It's changed now. Things have changed now. But back then, I'd have to go to this one particular store where you get all these different ingredients and buy that. I just need to go to a corner store and I'll get pre-cooked ravioli. I just have to boil it, and they taste pretty good as well. I mean, so that's great. It's super convenient. You have everything that you need. Yeah.
Wow, there was a lot in there that really shook me.
What shook you?
Well, the garlic for one, that I can't.
Yeah.
You've told us that before. I think I just like didn't understand to what degree you didn't eat garlic. But I use garlic like in our fridge. We always have pre-blended garlic. Like we'll just buy garlic from the store, peel it, whatever, put it in the blender, and then leave it in the fridge. So every time we cook or something, we just add garlic. I
Yeah.
cannot live without garlic. Like
Same. Ours is in a
it,
jar, though.
Mm.
yeah, like it's you need garlic. And then the processed food didn't like surprise me, but I guess like because I'm surprised because when I saw the way you were eating when we all were in New York, you ate a lot of like Chipotle, like things like Chipotle. And I thought it was because you were vegetarian and that's why you ate a lot more like veggies and stuff and grains. But now that I think about it, when you're talking about like processed food, it makes sense that you would stick to that because usually the fruits and vegetables are the least processed things. They're still processed, but they're the least processed things that we do sell. You can find stuff that's unprocessed. So now that I'm thinking about it, it makes more sense why you ate the way you ate and you ate what you ate because of that.
It's also that I don't know if I'm lactose intolerant or not, but certain kinds of cheeses really mess with my system. So if I used to love eating pizza, it was one of my favorite things. But nowadays, if I have pizza somewhere, if I buy frozen pizza and I eat it, I'm likely to develop some sort of reaction to that. Same thing with cheesy pastas. It doesn't react very well with my system. So I'm very conscious about avoiding that. Yeah. I don't want that pain that comes after eating something that's super yummy. Yeah.
So moving forward a little bit, do you guys ever feel pressured by social media or friends or family, whoever or whatever, to follow certain diets or trends? Like, how do you feel like the pressures or the judgments shape your food choices and shape your overall relationship with eating? I know we talked about our relationship and how it's changed over time, but how do you feel like pressure, the social pressure or the judgment has influenced that?
Mm.
I don't think social media necessarily pressures me into following certain trends. For me, I get more inspired. I love watching people share like their healthy food recipes and their workout routines. I'll like save those so that I can try them. The one thing I don't really like subscribe too much is like when they're like suggesting like medicines and like, oh, I don't know if y'all are on TikTok like that, but like the try the ashwagandha pills or try the 15-day cleanse. I'm gonna go to my doctor first respectfully about that before I just, do that. But Yeah, I love it. I feel like it's just like inspiration for me to try things and then I'll make my own judgment or like change it to the way I see fit. But I've done a lot of like diets and eating programs in my life. I think starting around like middle school time frame. I did like Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, a low calorie diet. I remember like in middle school, I used to always get like this brand called Smart Ones. It was like a frozen dinner and dessert, and sometimes I would get one of their breakfasts as well. And I guess some of that was like more my family kind of quote unquote pressuring me towards that, but I sometimes got really good results from it. So it's like I don't really feel any type of way about it. But more recently, I just started kind of doing my own thing that kind of works for me. And I think it did come from like me seeing people on social media doing it. Like we just talked the other day about how I hit like a year doing meal prep. I was watching people on TikTok and I was like, I think I could do that. And it worked out really well for me. Like I said earlier, I used to struggle a lot with portion control. My meal prep really helped with that. And that's something I think I'm just going to continue doing. And then even with this year, I'm starting with intermittent fasting and eating in a calorie deficit. I was also on TikTok, saw that and was like, I think I could do this too. And so far I've been feeling really good. And I think I'll continue doing that. But yeah, so I just kind of I'm used to kind of jumping on different diets and trends that I see and kind of adapting it to me, so I like it. I don't feel like the quote unquote pressure I have gotten, it doesn't really like bother me or influence me in a negative way. I feel like it's all been kind of like positive. But yeah, I always love trying new things. I want to try a juicing diet just for funsy, just for a few days. That would
That
not be a long-term thing. That would 3 days tops, and it's just as a detox, and then I'll go back to my regular diet,
That's
but yeah.
concerning, but okay.
Just for
no,
fun. I'm curious.
I tried first semester of our program, that first semester we met, and I was like 2 or 3 days in, and we were in our foundations of conflict resolution class. Promise you, I was seeing stuff. I was hallucinating. And after that I said no. Plus now I can't deal with the smell of celery. Like the smell of like blended celery makes me want to puke wholeheartedly. If it's like
Interesting.
this in the morning, I make like juices, like energy shots for my me and my parents to take. And right bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And right now, we have a celery, cucumber, green apple one. I still drink it, but I have to hold my breath because I don't like the smell of it. It reminds me of that. But for me, I feel like again, my relationship with food has kind of just been a relationship, not necessarily positive or negative. But I played volleyball for like 10 years. And when I stopped playing volleyball, it brought to my attention a lot of the myths and stereotypes that came with health and athleticism that I guess I internalized. At the time, I didn't realize it, but I was conforming to the standards of health and athleticism that my coaches and my volleyball team set in front of me. And not that those were bad standards, they weren't. They just weren't standards that fit my body and fit my lifestyle. I was usually the curviest person on the team or one of the curviest people on the team. And I have an athletic build, but because I'm so curvy, I have really wide hips, got a big butt. Like it's just the different places my body held muscle was different from the girls who were like
Mm,
skinnier and held a lot more muscle in like their core and their like arms. For me, it was
yeah.
mainly like my lower core, like lower abs and my legs. And so after finishing volleyball, I would say like the second semester of my first year in college, I started to edit what I started to edit my life based off of the health lifestyle that I wanted that fit my standards. And I realized I actually, like, I am really athletic. I do enjoy fitness. I enjoy working out. I enjoy working out to an extent. I don't want people quoting me like Rose loves the gym. I do it because it's healthy and I enjoy the way it makes me feel. I eat healthy because I enjoy the way it makes me feel. I like waking up with energy. I like looking back on my day and not feeling like dense or overwhelmed by how much I ate or how I didn't exercise. I don't like that feeling. But it didn't start changing until I started changing those stereotypes and myths that I internalized. And so I acknowledged them and I followed my own path instead of other people's path. Sometimes I think like I hated volleyball. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a secret. Me, my sisters always joke like I should have never played volleyball more than like 2 years. I wanted to play piano. They put me in volleyball. Correlation, where? But regardless, I'm grateful for the experience. I learned a lot of skills. But sometimes I wish if I discovered health and athleticism on my own and then I went into volleyball, I think my experience
Mm.
might have been different. I think I would have enjoyed it more because I was taking it. I had already learned on my own, and then I went into a situation where everyone had their own idea of health. Instead, I went into a situation where I knew nothing about health, and I had to learn based off of people who were just telling me their versions, not what was best for me. Which is surprising because a coach should be coaching towards you and like what's best for you, but that's a whole conversation for another day. Um, but yeah, not much pressure. I think it was internalized pressure, maybe, or judgment, but nothing conscious, I would say.
What about you, Shreya?
Do I feel pressured by social media? No. Never. Never going to happen. Not on social media enough to feel pressured by it, so no. Do I get inspired by it? Inspired by it? Yes, I do. When I see certain things that I think look nice, or if I think see certain trends that I think make sense, I'd be okay following those or doing those. For example, there was this entire thing about what was that? Proportion control. Basically, eating a balanced diet in whatever you're eating,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that you're not keeping things in the fridge for too long. I don't remember the exact when this was popular, but then I followed that and it was easier. It made things easier for me. I was eating healthy. So yes, do I get nice recipes out of from social media? Yes, I love doing those. There was this other day I saw this really nice peanut sauce bowl. It's an Asian inspired fusion bowl, I guess, where they have some grains, they're having fried tofu or baked tofu with this really nice peanut butter sauce. I was like, yum, this looks great. I'm gonna try this out. And I actually like it. It was super healthy. So yeah. Do I get inspired by it? Yeah. Inspired by it? Yes. I'm the one who goes to my family. I don't get pressured by them. I pressure them. I am the culprit. In my social situation, I'm the culprit. I'm the one who goes and gives them ideas. You should try this out. Oh, you're doing this. This is wrong. You should be doing this instead. The free advice, the unwanted advice, that's me. I'm the one who's
Same.
yeah. So I can't blame my family on this one. Do I feel judged? Okay. I have come to the realization that regardless of what bad experiences I might have had with friends, family, relatives, with them making any comments about my food choices or how much I'm eating, mostly about how much I'm eating, I feel the pressure or the judgment is more internal than external, in the sense that regardless of what they say, the insecurity comes from within. I'm more insecure about what I feel they will think about what I'm eating. Will they think I'm too desi? Will they think that I'm eating too much? Am I eating too much? Rather than what the other person thinks. The other person might be thinking about the color of the shirt they want to wear to office tomorrow, for all I know. Or they might be thinking about what this thing tastes like in them. I'm assuming things and it's basically my own doing. So I feel that to a certain extent, a few initial bad experiences have set that mindset in which I need to change. Initially, I was really scared of. How do I put this? I'm a picky eater. There are vegetables that I will not eat. I will not eat okra. I will not eat eggplant. I will not eat certain Indian vegetables because I do not like them. I do not like mangoes. I hate bananas, and I will not touch them. Anything that has these particular food items, I won't touch them because I have tried them, I've hated them, gagged, so I don't want them. And that makes me a very picky eater. So I don't let anybody pressure me into trying these out. The last time somebody pressured me into eating a banana was when I was like 11. So, yeah. I don't get pressured that way. I used to feel insecure about the kind of food that I liked or pressured into Indian food is my comfort food and that's what I would go to any day. Not the crap that you get here in New York City in the name of Indian food, which is just butter and cream and a lot more butter and then a couple of spices thrown in and this rich paste. No, that's not Indian food, sorry. But actual Indian food, that's my comfort. And I feel that I might get judged for it. That's the fear that I used to have. Now I don't care enough. I'm like, this is me. Yeah. So, yeah. The only thing that I do still continue to have with me is how much I'm eating, the portions that I'm eating. That is something that I need to work on. But otherwise, it's cool.
So then, based off what y'all both said, how do you guys define health? And based off of that definition of health, what goals do you guys have? when it comes to like your relationship with food or your relationship with health, whether it's physical, mental? Like, what goals do you have based off how you define your own?
I feel like I'm still trying to find my definition of like healthy eating and everything. And I definitely think there's like a psychology behind like food habits as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm still trying to figure that aspect out, but where I'm at right now is I have this philosophy that I can still eat the foods that I love, but I do it in moderation. So I meal prep clean and like healthy foods for the week. And then on the weekends, in moderation, I'll eat some of the foods I like. That's the way that I can make it sustainable. Because if I know I just have a lifetime of fruits and veggies and tofu, I'm not going to be happy. Like, I'm going to want to eat like the foods I want to eat. But if I know I can do it in moderation, that makes me buy in more. I also prioritize water intake way more than I used to. And I also had a shift in mindset about this isn't like a short term or even a long term like food strategy. This is a whole lifestyle change. And I think once I started looking at it that way, it helped me buy into it more. And I think now, like, my goals are to sustain that and to add in more physical activity. The winter's challenging for me because I don't like going outside in the cold. Even like leaving from the gym where I'm sweaty and my pores are open, can't feel that cold air, can't do it. But yeah, I think I want to maintain where I'm at now because I feel like it's a very healthy mindset that I'm in now. And I want to further define what healthy eating is for me.
Hmm. Cute. So my definition of healthy eating, I think, has just always been the same. I don't know why. I just try not to complicate health because I think I had a lot of friends who had bad relationship with food and like eating disorders. And so for me, I made it as simple as just do what makes me feel good. What makes my mind and my body feel good. If eating junk food all day doesn't make me feel good, I'm not going to eat junk food all day. If exercising 3 to 4 times a week makes me feel good, then I'm going to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. And it changes, of course. And I think that definition kind of it allows me the flexibility to change. It allows me the flexibility to constantly view myself as a healthy person, as an athletic person, as someone who lives a lifestyle that is consistently bettering my health. And now it's not conscious, like I said before. I've done it for so long, I just don't consciously think about it anymore. It's kind of just innate in me. I don't eat pork because I'm Muslim, so like I've never had pork, but like I don't eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat since like 2020, 2021. I try not to eat gluten because I have like a gluten sensitivity. I don't really know if that's real science, but like gluten does hurt my stomach. And the doctors have told me that. So usually I would say like maybe 20% of my diet has gluten. Or like I love pasta, so I have gluten-free pasta. But if I'm at a restaurant, I'm gonna eat pasta once, and that's the only gluten I'll have for like 2 to 3 days to make sure I feel good. So I kind of just focus on that. There's two goals I have. First, I hate fruit. Y'all know that I do not like fruit. It makes everyone so confused, but I just don't like it. Sometimes it's sour, sometimes it's too sweet. I'm not a sugary person. It's messy. Like it's just ugh. Like give me my vegetables. But because of my stomach issues and I have issues with my bowel movements, I have to eat fruit more. And so like I've been trying to eat fruit at least with every meal. So like today for lunch I ate 10 grapes. And then I eat apples now usually every day, but I eat apples with peanut butter. Like I'm trying to just incorporate more fruit and more fiber into my body because I don't like you said it, T, like the supplements and the medicine. Like I don't want to take all that. I really don't. If I can get it naturally, I will. So I need more fiber. I need to eat more fruit. That's my first goal. My second goal is more of a physical goal. I really want to run a half marathon one day. I was training for a half marathon in 2022, 2023, and I trained up until the point where I could run 10 miles. A half marathon is like 13 point something miles, right? I was 3 point something miles away. I was so close. And then I was training during the winter, and y'all know, like, I'm allergic to the world, like trees, grass, bugs, insects, everything. I'm allergic to everything. And so when spring came around, my asthma started acting up. I couldn't like run properly. I had to change. And so I kind of just stopped because it was annoying me. But I was so close. I just want to do it. By the time I'm 30 or 28, whatever, definitely before 30, but I just want to run a half marathon. Even if I don't officially sign up for a race, I want to be able to one day wake up and just be like, let me go run a half. So those are the two goals I have. They're both doable goals. Honestly, I will probably run the half marathon before I consistently eat fruit, but we're working on it. Okay? We're working on it.
Nice. I believe that food has a mind body soul connection.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think, at least personally for me, because I emote through food and it influences the way I think, the way I feel, bodily, mentally as well. So I think it has a connection with everything. I have also seen how it spiritually affects me when I eat certain kind of food, my mindset. It affects everything. That's my opinion. That's the philosophy that I prescribe to. It's not for everyone. So for me to have a sustainable lifestyle with the health issues that I have, I need moderation and healthy eating, eating everything in moderation, and exercise. These are three things that I
Mm.
need. Um, I think healthy eating is not just eating carrots for the rest of my life. No, it involves a lot of different things put together because health is not just my body, but it's also my mind and my soul. So yeah, that. Now, my goals for the future, or at least for this year, are one, portion control. I'm not going to be eating old food anymore. Nothing in the fridge for more than a day. That's one goal that I have. The second thing is I want to cut down on my sugar intake. It's something that has been concerning me for a while, so I am going to be cutting that down and incorporating more fruits and vegetables in my diet. When I cook, I think I cook healthy because I don't add a lot of creamy or rich food in it in general unless I'm calling someone over. The food that I usually eat does not have all of that. What I do need to control is the proportion and the quantity. Let's say if I have a cup of rice, I'd be having half a cup of rice with 1 cup of vegetables instead. So things like that. That's my goal.
Bet. Um, okay, so we're at time, but when everyone will see eventually, but in the end of January, like a couple weeks from now, we're all going to be in New York. And something I want us to do is make our 2025 bingo cards. So maybe one of our slots in our bingo cards can be our physical and nutritional, I don't know if that's the word, nutritional goals that we have for
Yeah,
ourselves. So
yeah.
let's remember these.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye!
Toodaloo.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mosaic Podcast.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify to stay updated on new posts and episodes. Also, tune in to our blog where T. Marie posts every Monday, Roseberry every Wednesday, and I, Shreya, every Thursday.
We're grateful you're here, and we look forward to embracing the intersections of identity together in the episodes to come. Until next time,
Stay curious.
Stay true.
and stay unapologetically you. Bye.